Common gun misconceptions. Why did you whisper that? Common gun misconceptions. Let's do this. Taking guns away won't ever solve the problem of gun crime. Number one, because it's probably going to be unconstitutional, but whatever. Number two, people are still going to still gonna buy guns illegally just because you ban guns from normal citizens doesn't mean gun crime's going to cease. It'd be banning, I don't know, heroin. Did heroin cease? No. Banning things doesn't work. Now, punishing everyone for someone's crime isn't good. Let's say I punch someone in the face, right? Does that mean we should ban all fists? No, it's an overreaction. And you may say, oh, that's hyperbolic. Okay. What's a better analogy? I say a no-no word, so we ban all words. Someone, has a gun when they shouldn't, therefore we should ban all guns. In other words, what I'm trying to, repel is the acts of one other can ruin it from someone else, which makes no sense. Unless you're in a greed group, then it can. The evil assault weapons. Now, by assault weapons, there's a million different definitions, but I'm going with the definition that the evil assault rifle, otherwise known as the AR-15, is a fully semi-automatic rifle, meaning if you pull the trigger once, one bullet comes out. If you hold down the trigger, on the other hand, one bullet comes out. The AR-15 is a civilian-grade version of the M16. While no, it's not impossible to buy fully automatic guns. You'd basically either have to be so clean and spend so much money it would become impractical, or C, just buy it illegally, which is probably the easier answer. Yes, advocating for the legal sale of guns. Nice. It is to protect the children. Okay, first of all, think of the kids as the most manipulative thing ever. I mean, okay. So what? Why should I? Well, because guns kill kids. Yeah, but on average 10 per year, and guns actually save more lives than kill people, and then actually hurt people, and even if you take the amount of deaths per year, which is deaths per year from a gun, it's mostly 100,000. 10 kids make up that entire thing in school shootings. Guns should be banned in the name of greater good. Now, I don't remember where I've heard that before. Let's see. No. Oh yeah, totalitarian regimes. Again, we're lightly asking for you to give us your guns so we don't have to ask anything again. An example of this is Venezuela. Venezuela banned all guns, except for police, to quote-unquote stop gun crime. And, well, as we all know what happened in Venezuela, it went to a hellhole, and the government ended up exploiting the people. Whether or not the law was designed to, the government to be able to exploit the people doesn't matter, because it allowed for it. Not only that, but civilians started killing cops to get guns. And, well, not the exact same thing, but totalitarian regimes who've done the same thing. Read like a list: Nazi Germany, Communist Russia, Maoist China, and Cambodia. All very friendly people. But also, you could argue the exact same thing for good. Sure, well, some people may die due to gun crime and school shootings. Around 10 million people, according to the CDC, God, I can't remember the number, but a significant majority, way more than the number of people killed in homicide, um, well, are actually stopped by guns. So sometimes sacrifices should be made in the name of greater good. Again, I can use your own arguments against you. And an example, or a common example, is a bad batch of Tylenol happened. Well, no, I'm thinking they're referring to the Tylenol poisons, where purposely poisoned Tylenol was distributed to cover up someone killing a husband to make it seem like a bad batch. So in other words, no Tylenol. No, just no. That's a bad example. Okay, being paranoid, it's actually 2 million citizens prevent crimes per year. Prevents crimes with guns per year. And only 300,000 are used to commit crimes. But only around 10,000 people, or 1/3 of that number, are used to are homicides. So in other words, 10,000 or 2 million, you choose. But I was right with my 10 number for children killed in school shootings. God. Nothing's more important than the safety of a child. I'd normally agree with this. Except the truth. A lot of misconceptions about guns circulate, making this issue seem bigger than it is. Which, it probably should be brought to light, but probably not number one on the list. Okay. Why not get rid of the Second Amendment? Okay, first of all, the Second Amendment protects from tyranny, and, well, the fact that the government needs to be responsible to the people, not the people responsible to the government. In other words, without guns, the government can take control. Again, citing Venezuela, Communist Russia, and Nazi Germany. I mean, someone has to. In all of my members, someone has to go disagree with all three of those groups. Or all three. I mean, one of the three. So if you look at this is not really a main point, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. How many bills do you see completely, or how popular is it to completely ban all guns? Pretty likely. And what were we told a couple years ago? It's Oh yeah, that's right. It's paranoid to think that uh it's paranoid to think that the left's gonna come for our guns. We just want logical gun restriction. Yeah, definitely. We need to compromise. First of all, the gun lobby, more specifically the NRA, would literally get nothing out of compromising. Compromise happens when two sides want something, but they overlap and there's deal breakers. So they sometimes will back off some if they agree that the other territory will back off a little. And then we have compromise. Whereas guns are legal, compromising would literally not do anything for them. And it's better for them to not compromise. AR-15s aren't used for hunting. Meanwhile, AR-15s are the most popular hunting rifle. There's 96 deaths a day because of gun. What? there's around 36 deaths per day, and the 96 figure comes from accidental deaths and suicides. Now, let's throw another statistic. Since the CDC says there's 2 million crimes prevented by guns each year, there should be a total of 5,479 prevented crimes each day. So I don't know, 5,000, or actually 5,050 or 36. I'm gonna take my 5,050. But if we go even further by assuming, well, by taking the gun, by gun homicide and dividing it by the the total amount of you're taking that number, dividing it by the total amount of crimes committed with a gun per day, we would get something like 836 crimes prevented each day, or 836 homicides prevented each day. So I'll take my bigger numbers that save more lives. Thank you. Oh god. Oh god. I made a big goof. I checked over my math and realized whatever the common statistical error is, 36, around 200 people used to stop a homicide. Oh god, you're an idiot. But I looked deeper into the statistic and found a little line that basically says this is only for the amount of times the gun is actually discharged. It's not actually for if you were to brandish it but not pull the trigger. In other words, it's probably higher. God, a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun. Well, this is true. People have slightly diluted it, saying neither has to die if nobody has a gun. But here's the thing about bad guys with guns. Unless it's their first offense, or the first instance of going wacko, guess what? You're not allowed to have a gun if you have a felony. Now, if you have a felony, you'd have to buy a gun illegally, right? So, if they catch you with a gun, that's a felony, meaning you bought it illegally, meaning you can't get a gun, and you're probably going to go on some special registry because that's what happens with these things. But even if they obtained a gun, the good guy with a gun, or with what used to be a gun, can no longer protect him. And oh no, looks like we have a mass shooting. Oh, what a shame. And this could all just be stopped if a good guy with a gun, but also there's a flaw with that issue. Good guys with Actually, there's two major flaws. Good guys with guns obtain their guns legally, therefore preventing them, but bad guys with guns can obtain them illegally, or in other words, avoiding all laws. Look, Australian instituted gun playback, and now look at it. Ooh, except the amount of guns actually increased after the buyback. And probably one result, but I haven't actually looked into this, is because people would buy a gun, like a cheap gun, sell it back to the police for destruction, or whoever it is, and get more money than they actually earned. Meaning they could buy an actual good gun instead of some cheap gun. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, this isn't an argument because nobody cares, but I'm gonna go take the Birds and the BS on gun control, which is where I got most of my misconceptions, except for a few, but whatever. And they say that get your rear end out to vote because we can't do this alone. But in the event of a tyrannical government, they'll totally be voting. And if there is, it will totally not be rigged. And you say, oh, well, you're paranoid for thinking this. Let me think. Tyrannical government, fairness, yeah, they really align, amazingly, shockingly. Well, you might ask, why didn't the government or the founding fathers start to vote? Oh, one second. I'm getting a report from my imaginary my imaginary co-host. Oh, they couldn't. Oh, wait a second. Now, what could get them to vote or to actually be acknowledged? If only there was some sort of device in the last resort situation could be used to stop a tyrannical government. Well, I guess none exists. By the way, we need more gun control.